Constitution, Go ahead, Jane.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Naples Jewish Congregation as we welcome and celebrate Shabbat. We're going to begin tonight with an opening prayer. Adonai, we lift up our hearts to you, the maker of heaven and earth. The infinite heavens and the quiet stars tell of your endless power. We turn from our daily toil, from its clamor and its weariness, to meditate on the serene calm of your presence that pervades all creation and hallows our life with the blessing of Shabbat peace. Author of peace, bless our worship on this Sabbath day. Enlighten our eyes to behold your guiding power in all nature, from the remotest star to our inmost thought. Incline our hearts to love you and to make your will the law of our life. Be with us as our comfort in sorrow, our strength in trial, and give us courage to serve you in all our ways. May our words of prayer and our unspoken meditations unite us in love of your name, O God, our Creator and Redeemer. Please join with Peter and Allah and I and sing Hine Ma Tov. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shabbat Achim, Gad Yachad. 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 How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shabbat Achim, Gad Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shabbat Achim, Gad Yachad. Shalom Aleichem, 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 Shalom Aleichem. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shabbat Achim, Gad Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shabbat Achim, Gad Yachad. The purpose of prayer is to be brought to God's attention, to be listened to be understood by God, not to know God, but to be known to God. To pray is to behold life not only as a result of divine power, but as a concern of the divine will, or to strive to make our life a divine concern. For the ultimate aspiration of humanity is not to be a master, but an object of God's knowledge. To live in the light of divine countenance, to become a thought of God. This is the true career of human beings. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Herschel. Because lighting candles can be understood as the last act of work that we do on Friday, there exists a custom in many homes to light the candles and draw your hands 3 times toward yourself in a circular motion. Then cover your eyes and recite the blessing. When you open your eyes, the light has been transformed from the light of the week to the light of Shabbat. A fun fact, because of its home-based nature and Judaism's patriarchal roots, candle lighting has, over the centuries, become one of the few ritual practices traditionally dominated by women. However, the great 12th century rabbi and scholar Maimonides writes in his legal compendium, Mishnah Torah, that both men and women are obligated to ensure that a candle is lit in the home and obligated to bless before lighting. So, my friends, by whatever gender you may identify, if any, let's get lit. And I would now like to welcome Marilyn and Barry Goldenberg to light our candles on this Shabbat.
Darkness falls about me, comforting and a bit frightening. It harbors both dreams and demons. I tap it for solace. I delve it for options. I flee it for fear. It mirrors that which I so desperately wish to avoid, me. Yet I stand here, not to embrace the dark, but to kindle the light, not to close my eyes forever, but to open them this once. I stand amidst the dark and bring forth light, soft, fragile, flickering light, the only light I know, the only light I can bear. I bring it, yet it is not mine. I kindle it, yet it is not me. I am the bearer only.
Where the world is dark with illness, let me kindle the light of healing. Where the world is bleak with suffering, let me kindle the light of caring. Where the world is dimmed by lies, let me kindle the light of truth. May I be worthy of this honor as I strike the match and kindle the flame that illumines the heart of all the world. Blessed is the one beyond light and dark, by whose power we sanctify life with the mitzvah of the Sabbath lights. As these Sabbath candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivanu lahadlach ner Shabbat.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvah, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem is one of the best known and most beloved of all the Sabbath hymns. Its simple words are a greeting to the angels of peace who come to dwell with us on Shabbat. The Hebrew word malach actually means messengers, and it is used in the Tanakh for both heavenly and earthly emissaries. All of us on Shabbat can become a malachei shalom, or messengers of peace to one another, as we share our inner quiet and joy on this day. Go ahead. La 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 Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 la. Shalom, Malachei, Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei, Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 Dear God, as I pray day after unpredictable day, may the voice of my soul spring forth from my lips. May I turn to you, God, in tears, in laughter, and in song, and may my prayers be answered. Amen. L'chadodi is the heart and soul of Kabbalat Shabbat, composed around 1548 by Rabbi Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz. L'chadodi likens the arrival of Shabbat to the arrival of a beloved and honored guest. Alkabetz composed the song as an acrostic, with the first letter of each stanza spelling out his own name, Shlomo HaLevi. The Chadodi reflects the practice of Safed Kabbalist who used to go into the fields on Friday afternoon to meet the Sabbath queen in meditation and song. This practice was based on the Talmudic account of how the sages welcome Shabbat. Yeah. boi hala, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, lecha la la la, lecha Shabbat mekaben la la la, lecha dodi, lecha la la la, lecha Shabbat mekaben la la la. Open my eyes, God. Help me to perceive what I have ignored and to uncover what I have forsaken, to find what I've been searching for. Remind me that I don't have to journey far to discover something new, for miracles surround me and blessings and holiness abound, and you are near. Amen. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rama.
Amen.
Yalma divra kirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechom v'yomechom, v'chayei kol beit Yisrael.
Bagala, bagala, uvesagarim.
V'yamaru.
Amen. Yeshmei Rabba Borach, Le'olam Elamaya, Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'al v'yitromam, v'yitnasei, v'yitada, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha, Chula eila, v'machol birchata, v'shir prata. Bless the love that joins us, the spirit, the shared intention that creates our community. Bless our traditions, the God of our ancestors, steeped in holiness and ceremony. The ark, sheltering Torahs which teach, challenge, and demand interpretation. Blessed our Reformed Jewish theology, nourishing the holy flame within, urging each of us toward creative understanding, opening paths to participation. Grounded in our ancient tradition, let these paths lead us to learning new traditions and the increasing appreciation of and thankfulness for the beauty and the wholeness that surround us. Please join us in our call to prayer, the Baruch Adonai, Hamavorach, Baruch Adonai, Hamavorach, Hamavorach, Le'olam Va'ed, Hamavorach, Hamavorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Praise to God, to whom all praise is due. Praise be to God, to whom all praise is due, now and forever. O God, You are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. When we recite the Ve'ahavta, we speak of our love for God. But when we sing the Ahavat Olam, the words tell of God's love for us. Please join Peter in the singing of Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, make Israel to all mitzvot, to kibbutz mishpatim, utzanu l'madita. Okay, Adonai Eloheinu, v'shameinu v'tomenu, nasiya b'chekecha, v'nishmat v'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed, kihem chayenu, yorech yameinu, u'vahem v'hegel yamav v'layla.
The Shema became the first prayer of innocent childhood and the last utterance of the dying. It was the rallying cry by which 100 generations in Israel were welded together to do God's will. It was the watchword for the myriad of martyrs who agonized and died for the unity. During every persecution and massacre, Shema Yisrael has been the last song on the lips of the victims. All the Jewish martyrologies are written around the Shema. The reading of the Shema indeed fulfilled that promise of the rabbis, that it clothed man with invincible lion strength. It endowed the Jews with a double-edged sword of the Spirit against the unutterable terrors of the long night of suffering and exile. The Shema is wrapped in ahava, love. The blessing preceding the Shema, which Peter just sang, concludes, who loves your people Israel. The prayer following the Shema begins, V'ahavta, you must love Adonai. First, you are loved, then you respond with love. Love is central to Jewish life. Love means commitment and limitations, Torah and mitzvot, in our relationships with each other and in our relationship with God. Please join now as we sing together Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shin kavod malchuto,
Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way. When you lie down, when you rise up, bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. Ani Adonai Eloheinu, I am the Lord your God.
Let's pray together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall ever be in your heart. You shall teach them to your children, recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and let them serve as symbols on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? Your children witnessed your sovereignty, the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. This is our God, they cried. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, O guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield us and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and our coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Grant us peace as we lay down and close our eyes. You will shelter me and my family beneath the shadow of your wings. Keep us safe and raise us up to life renewed. And through every storm, you will keep us warm, filled with love and light. Watching over us, you will carry us safely through the night. Grant us peace as we lay down and close our eyes. You will shelter me and my family beneath the shadow of your wings. Keep us safe and raise us up to life renewed. And through every storm, you will keep us warm, filled with love and light. Watching over us, you will carry us safely through the night.
O God of Israel, may our worship on this day help us to grow in loyalty to our covenant with you and to the way of life it demands, the way of gentleness and justice, the path of truth and peace. The people of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days God made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God rested.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'zavot v'yitolam. Beni u'ben b'nei Yisrael, Beni u'ben b'nei Yisrael, Beni u'ben b'nei Yisrael. Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat. Ki sheshit yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'yet haaretz u'bayom Hashli'i Shabbat Shabbat Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Yam b'yam b'bai, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah. Great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God who bestows loving kindness and creates everything out of love. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vechonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula, Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shamo, B'ahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach, U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'etzrat Sarah, Atagi Bor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Ma'ashiv HaRuach, U'marid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'mechayim Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Givurot, U'mito Melach, Melach Mimit, U'mechayei, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Please read together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, God of Leah, great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, and remembers that the love of our fathers and mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name, sovereign deliverer, helper, and shield. Blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom, l'halelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, and keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up, and faithfully giving life to all. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Grant sovereign peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us that leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. May Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. It's natural to be frightened when we or someone we love becomes ill. We feel vulnerable. We worry. We want everything to turn out all right. No one can understand exactly how we feel. Prayer has the power to transform fear into faith. It reminds us that we are never alone. Everything we are, body and soul, is in the hand of God, whose presence fills the universe and who is as close as our very own breath. God comforts our fears. And now we take a moment to say a prayer of healing, the Mishaberach. During the Mishaberach, we ask God's blessing and protection. We ask to be rescued from any trouble or distress, and we ask for healing for others and for ourselves. And on this Shabbat, we now take a moment to say a prayer of healing for Johnny Graham, Dawn Martincheck, Jay Thomas, Dr. Dave Zolik, Tom Oldag, Harriet Krell, Dr. Robert Goldberg, Bill Gasway, Erwin Neiman, Amy Gallick, Dennis Barbacow, Lee Dogoloff, Gary Henderson, Michael Zielinski, Sheldon Pollock, Barb Goldberg, Jeffrey Berger, Juliana Knuckle, and Dr. Stan Levsky. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, grant insight to those who bring healing, courage, and faith to those who are sick and in need, and bring strength to all who love them. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. Please join Peter and Al and I now in singing the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Imotenu May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Oh my God, my soul's companion, my heart's precious friend, I turn to you. I need to close out the noise, to rise above the noise that interrupts, the noise that separates, the noise that isolates. I need to hear you again. In the silence of my innermost being, I hear whispers of your presence, echoes of the past when you were with me, when I felt your nearness, when together we walked, when you held me close, embraced me in your love, laughed with me in my joy. I yearn to hear you again in your oneness. In your oneness, I find healing. In the promise of your love, I am soothed. In your wholeness, I too can become whole again. Please listen to my call. Help me find the words. Help me find the strength within. Help me shape my mouth, my voice, my heart, so that I can direct my spirit and find you in prayer, in words only my heart can speak, in songs only my soul can sing, lifting my eyes and my heart to you. Please take a moment now for silent prayer.
Shalom, Aleinu, V'Yakov, Yisrael, V'Yimru, Amen. Osei Shalom, B'Rama, U'Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu, V'Yakov, Yisrael, V'Yimru,
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Shalom, Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom, Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom, Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom, Shalom Yerushalayim, Shalom, 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 Shalom Yerushalayim. Pray for the peace of Israel. Pray for the peace of Israel. Pray for the peace of Israel. Israel shall live in peace.
This Shabbat, we read our second Torah portion, Noah. Last week, Rabbi Herman led us in the celebration of Simchat Torah, and he read the ending of Deuteronomy, which completed our yearly Torah reading, and then we started all over again with the reading from Genesis, Bereshit, the creation. As everything in our lives turn, so do our Torah portions. Parsha Noach tells the story of God's decision to destroy the earth with a flood because of the corruption and wickedness found in the world. Only a righteous man named Noah, his family, and pairs of every kind of creature were to survive. Noah is told to build a large boat, an ark, and to make a place on it for every creature that he was to save. After the flood, those aboard the ark started life on earth all over again, and God, with a rainbow, promises to never send another flood. We all know this story. It's been told to us since we were little children. I'm a preschool teacher, and personally, I think we've got 8 books on Noah's Ark in our preschool. One day, I was doing research in Temple Shalom's library, and 2 pieces of paper fell out of the book that I was looking through. On the paper was written something so interesting that I had to go into the office and make a copy of it. And then I put the originals back in the book again. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But before I get back to that those pieces of paper, I'm going to read some of the portions of our Torah portion tonight about Noah. And as I'm reading it, listen and see if there's anything strange that this brings to mind, that you notice anything strange about this portion. Here's the first one. Noah walked with God. Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now this is God talking to Noah. As for me, I am going to bring the flood waters upon the earth to destroy all that lives under the heavens, all that has the breath of life in it,
Everything on earth shall expire. With you, though, I will establish my covenant. Go then into the ark, you, your wife, your sons, and their wives with you. After 7 days, the floodwaters covered the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month of the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep broke out, and the sky's floodgates opened. Rain fell upon the earth for 40 days and nights. Here's some more. That very day, Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, Noah's sons, came to the ark with Noah's wife and his son's 3 wives. In Noah's 601st year, on the 1st month, the water had receded from over the earth, and when Noah removed the covering of the ark, he saw the earth's surface was beginning to dry. And by the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth had dried up. God then spoke to Noah, saying, "Go out of the ark with your wife, your sons, and their wives." So Noah went out together with his sons, his wife, and their wives. Did you notice anything about these excerpts? Sometimes when studying a Torah text, it's just as important to look at what's not mentioned as what is. Noah's wife is mentioned 4 times. Well, I've been told 5 times. 5 times in the flood story. But she and her daughter-in-laws are never named. Noah's wife is not the only woman in Hebrew scriptures to not be mentioned. As a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to mention another one. Now, some rabbis were curious about her identity. One rabbi argued that Noah's wife's name was Naamah, and that she was the sister of Tubal Cain, a descendant of a descendant of Adam and Eve's son, Cain, who is listed in the genealogies in Genesis. He justified his view with the explanation that the name derives from the word pleasant, and that Noah's wife's actions were pleasing to God. Her name also indicates that she had a beautiful voice and that she sang lovely melodies. And not only to Noah did she sing these beautiful melodies, but to her family and to all, and that her melodies actually calmed the animals aboard the ark. But many rabbis argued that her name couldn't be Naamah because that name indicates that she sang to the timbrel of idolatry. So we're not sure about the name of the second Eve, the second mother of humankind. So now I'm going to go back to those 2 pieces of paper that fell out of the book. They were copies from the first in a series of unsung women of the Bible. This was written by Miriam Silver, a Jewish educator, and this is called A Conversation with Mrs. Noah. Hello? Hello? No, I'm sorry. Noah's not home. This is Naamah. What do you mean, who? This is Noah's wife, Naamah. I know you didn't know I had a first name. I've been mentioned in the Torah 5 times, and I still have no personal identity. Well, yeah, I'm annoyed. Anyway, why are you calling? To find out what? How I feel about what? No, I haven't spoken to my husband since he left this morning. But he should be home any moment. Sorry, I don't know anything about a flood. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, hi, Noah. What's happening? You've been thinking about us? Oh, how sweet. What is it that you want to know? Yes, of course I love you. Yes, I think you're a righteous man, but frankly, Noah, most everyone around us seems so immoral. It's easy to be righteous among so many terrible people. And I don't know if we lived among good people that you'd be considered so great. All right, all right. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just saying that you're better than your contemporaries and that you're able to stick to your principles in the face of opposition. And that's a good thing. Oh, yes, of course. But hey, don't forget, I'm a righteous woman too, right? I also have a beautiful face, a beautiful voice. Haven't I pleased you in many ways? Haven't my songs given you pleasure? Haven't I given you pleasure? Haven't I given you 3 handsome sons? Why, yes, of course I would be grief-stricken if we were to perish. Why are you talking such nonsense? No one wants you to be alone and sad. What are you talking about? What's the problem? Why are you calling? What? What are we being saved from? A flood? Are you serious? What do you mean get packing? Where are we going and why? Destroying the world, the entire world, even the babies and the children? Why? They haven't done anything wrong or terrible. Why? Can't they just like get an evacuation notice like from the wildfires in California or the hurricanes in Florida? Oh, come on, not everybody's a degenerate. Like what? Oh, sure, there are many who are wicked and yeah, even immoral. Okay, there's some murderers. So what? Does everybody have to be destroyed? What will I tell our friends, our neighbors? We're leaving without them. This is horrible. What a catastrophe. I can't bear it. Such a curse. How are we going to be able to watch as the waters get higher and higher and the people drown and the houses disappear? This is too devastating to contemplate. I just want to weep. Oh, so you're feeling so self-righteous because you've been singled out? You think you're so high and mighty because the others are being destroyed and only we're being saved? Well, my dear, how about stop gloating and try asking for some mercy for the others, our friends, our neighbors, other women and children who are innocent. Oh, you're so selfish that you only are thinking about your own personal salvation. Really, Noah, I am so disappointed in you. Come home. Let me call the boys and let me see if they can help you out with whatever it is you decide to do. Let me say goodbye to my brother, Tabalcain. All right, and my mother, Jabal. Okay. And my great-grandfather came. Okay, Noah, okay. All right, goodbye. As Mrs. Noah, this is fast forward a few years. Mrs. Noah emerges from the ark onto dry land. So many days and months later, she cannot shake the memory of those thousands of human beings struggling to survive as they drowned and died in the deep, deep waters of the flood. It was a horror. Yet she breathes a deep sigh of relief. She thinks of how cooped up she's been in a boatload of family with so many kosher and non-kosher smelly animals. She wonders how she survived the prohibition of sexual relations for both the animals and for her and her husband. But in reflection, she realizes that she had let go of the resentment that she had for God's destruction of the whole world and Noah's passivity in giving into God's instructions. While she was still horrified at such mass destruction, she had taken care of everything as best she could. She realized that she'd been blessed with lots of patience, good humor, fortitude, and resourcefulness, and best of all, she could sing. Her voice calmed the animals during the deluge. Her songs kept them free of fear and desire. Her melodies carried the prayers of her family through the storm, and they were spared the worst of the rolling waves. Her sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, were inspired by her example to work together with their wives, lightening the burdens and making the time pass more quickly. She soothed her husband when he was overwhelmed with the enormity of his responsibilities. Unfortunately, they could snuggle together as the rain battered the wooden deck above them, and they shared a contentment that permeated the air. It was not an easy place to live, but at the end of the day, they had each other, and together they watched the waters recede. They watched the rainbow as it stretched from horizon to horizon. Noah could not have weathered this storm alone. Certainly the Torah will record the importance of this remarkable woman when it's written. So thought the second Eve, second mother of us all. Shabbat Shalom. There's gonna be a floody, floody, Lord, said Noah. There's gonna be a floody, floody. Get those children out of the muddy, muddy children of the Lord. So rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord.
They came on by twosies, elephants and
Came on by twosies, elephants and kangaroosies, children of the Lord. So rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord.
it rained and poured for 40 days.
Rained and poured for 40 days. 12 those animals, crazy, crazy children of the Lord. So rise and shine, give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord. We sing the Aleinu close to the end of every service. This prayer expresses our hope that the world would be better than it is today, and that evil will be driven from the world, and that all of humanity will be united and at peace.
Aleinu l'shabeach, l'adon, l'akon, l'ateit gedula, l'yoser reshit, shalom asanu, k'go yehoratzot, velo esamanu, k'mishpachot adama, shalom sam, k'alkeinu kohen, v'lo aleinu, אנחנו קוראים ושמחים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שאולות לשמיים ויוסף אורץ ומושבים קרוב בשמיים ממעל ושביעית נחוזו וגלה מרומים הוא אלוהינו עליון ארץ מלכנו את מסולתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והושבותה אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל הארץ אך מתחת אין עוד ונאמר ויה אדוני למלך
find it hard to believe that all we are simply vanishes. I don't think we go to a physical place. After all, the essence, the soul, is not physical. As the Israeli scholar Aidan Steinsaltz once wrote, to ask where the soul goes is a nonsense question. The soul is not physical. Where does a dream go once it's been dreamt? Where does love go when it disappears? We cannot conceive of what life might be like if it is not material like this life. In this life, we are tied to the tangible, except our deepest experiences tend to be things that are not really physical, like love, like memory. We cannot imagine what happens after death, but the poverty of our imagination does not prove that the world is not more creative than we know. We recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us, those who have died at this season and in years past. This evening, we remember Oleg Gorlick, Rabbi Regina Jonas, Samuel Kushner, Conrad Molter, Eric Justin Neiman, Ruth Cohen Salk, Bert Schenker, Stefan Urasman. If anyone else is observing a yard site this evening, please mention their name now. The memories of all of them are with us. Our grief and sympathies are mingled as we praise God and pray for the coming of God's kingdom. Please join me as we recite the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra chirute v'yamlich melchute, v'chaye chon u'v'yomei chon, v'chaye dikru beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ol me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Elamim kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bialma v'yimaru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'maromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. May God establish God's kingdom in your lifetime and during your days, and with the life of the entire house of Israel, speedily and soon. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. May God's great name be blessed forever and to all eternity. We now invite our President Emeritus, Steve McCloskey, for comments and announcements. Shabbat Shalom, Steve.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom to you
Shabbat
and
Shalom.
everybody else tonight. First, I'd like to extend a big thanks to our doubly talented Jane for leading our Shabbat service tonight and for, along with Alla and Peter, enriching our Shabbat experience with their musical talents to bring us our wonderful Shabbat songs. Jane also brought us a creative and thoughtful message, as she always does when she leads our service. I want to make a special shout out tonight to Peter, who for 2 high holy days in a row now has volunteered tons of his time to bring us, along with Alla and Jane, the wonderful music that so enhanced our high holy day services. He does this out of his love for Jane and Alla, his love of our music, and his love for NJC. I know that we all deeply appreciate his commitment to NJC. I also want to acknowledge that as music director and accompanist, Allah is the glue that holds it all together. Thanks also to Jane and Peter for schlepping to Allah's house during our Zooming so that we can have our terrific Shabbat music. Thanks to Marilyn and Barry Goldenberg for lighting and blessing our Shabbat candles tonight. Thanks to Dick Lechner for hosting our service on Zoom and YouTube Live tonight, and for all that he has done since March 2020 to enable us to gather virtually for Shabbat services and for our NJC Connects events. Lastly, thanks to Charles Flum for being our Zoom and YouTube Live co-host. Next Friday, October 15th at 7 p.m., we will be having a Shabbat Torah service on the UU Pavilion outside. We will not be streaming the service on Zoom or YouTube Live, so please make plans to come in person. It will be safe, we'll be outside. Adult Learning with Rabbi Herman, the first session will be on Tuesday, October 19th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. The rabbi's topic will be plagues and pandemics in Jewish history, a relevant topic for the time we're going through now. And I'd like to take just 2 more minutes. One of our longtime members, and by far our oldest, Sylvia Berg, recently passed away at the end of August. I felt that her relationship with NJC deserved a mention. Sylvia was 106 when she passed. Sylvia was a fixture at Friday night Shabbat services, as Jane and Alla and Peter and the rabbi and others can testify to. In fact, she was present at our last pre-pandemic service on Friday, March 13th, 2020. When I was up on the bema, I often observed Sylvia sitting between Ellie on the one side and Sarah, her caretaker, on the other, reveling in the Shabbat experience. Although she had difficulties with seeing and hearing, her heart was always in the service. Friday night Shabbat was just part of who Sylvia was. We celebrated her birthday at services every February. Sylvia loved NJC, which along with the Naples Senior Center was a big part of her life. May Sylvia's memory be a blessing to her family and friends, including those of us at NJC. Thank you, Jane.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Oh, I have one announcement.
Okay.
It's our Glue's birthday tomorrow.
It's what?
It's our Glue's birthday tomorrow.
She meant me.
I mean,
Oh, Allah, yeah. Oh, happy birthday.
Another birthday, huh?
Let's sing
Another
happy
birthday for Allah.
birthday.
And I survived.
Let's sing happy birthday.
Let's sing.
Oh, let's do it. Yes, yes, yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Allah. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
Thank you.
L'chaim.
Look, I am.
The seventh day is consecrated to Adonai our God. With wine, our symbol of joy, we celebrate this day and its holiness. We give thanks for all our blessings, for life and health, for work and rest, for home and love and friendship. On Shabbat, eternal sign of creation, we remember that we are created in the divine image. We therefore raise the cup in thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei bari hagafen, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה לנו לשבת קדשו יחווה ורצון מקרים לנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר לציית מצרים קיבלנו בחרת ידענו קידשת מכל העמים לשבת קדשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן. לחיים.
לחיים.
המוציא לחם מן הארץ, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful word is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. May all of the gifts hidden inside you find their way into the world. May all the kindness of your thoughts be expressed in your deeds. May all your learning lead to wisdom. May all your efforts lead to success. May all the love in your heart be returned to you. May God bless your body with health and your soul with joy. May God watch over you night and day and protect you from harm. May all of your prayers be answered. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless us and keep us. Ya'er Adonai panav alecha v'chunecha. May God's light shine upon us and may God be gracious to us. Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yisim lecha shalom. May we feel God's presence within us always and may we find peace. Shabbat shalom. Please join us in the singing of Ein Keloheinu. Hey!
Shalom.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Jane, Peter, Allah. Thank you.
It was good.
Allah,
Yes.
are you doing anything
Allah,
special
Steve's
tomorrow
talking to you.
night?
Get on the picture.
Okay, Steve, I'm here.
Are
Hi.
you doing anything special tomorrow night?
Huh?
Are you doing anything special for your
In that
birthday?
Corona air time now, maybe to the movies. We were planning for the breakfast, but it's not gonna work tomorrow. I'm happy, but I'm alive. Trust